Things have just gotten out of control. I don't need all of these fabrics. Let's go through them. With the new season, I have just been taking inventory of what is working and what is not really working in my sewing studio. Have moved things around recently, maybe in the past year or so, and ever since I did, it's just not working how I want it to work. So I'm going to change the table layout. Hopefully that will improve just the whole sewing process. With that, I need to clean out the shed and kind of address some things that need to be fixed or organized. And a big one is my fabric cabinet. I was cleaning that out, and as I was cleaning it out, I was realizing all of these things about fabric and why I purchase certain fabrics and what I'm really drawn to right now, and some things that I've learned from what ended up being in my donate pile versus what I'm keeping. While I was cleaning out my fabric cabinet, it got me thinking about a lot of things I've learned from sewing over the years and buying fabric, and some principles that I'm going to use buying fabric in the future and moving forward. And the first is quality over quantity. It's always important to me to find a fabric that is something I'm going to actually wear, it's going to last, and when I wash it, it's just going to get better with time, and it's something that can withstand the wear and tear of everyday life, and something that can be passed down to my children and their children. There are some fabrics that I just stick to because I love the feel of them, I love wearing them. They are fabrics that are going to last. Next, I realized that buying online usually helps me with staying away from impulse buying. I know this can sound counterintuitive, but when I come across a fabric at a local store, since we don't have any small fabric shops in my town that are focused around apparel fabrics, then I usually come across something that catches my eye. But when I get home, it's not as nice as I thought it was in the store, or the color is a little off. So when I'm shopping online, I can put something in my cart or on a Pinterest board and save it for later and come back to it when I'm ready. And I don't feel this impulse like I usually do when I'm shopping in person. The third takeaway is the more that I study fabrics, clothing stores online, reading the description and looking at my closet and seeing what I usually gravitate towards, looking at the tag on the side seam. It usually tells you what the fabric is made of, what kind of fabric it is. You can also find this online in the description. And then the more that I study that and take note, the easier it is to find fabric online that is going to be similar in weight and similar in feel. When it's like 2 ounces, it's very lightweight. And so if it's 7 ounces, that would be heavier for a jacket or something like that. I also enjoy keeping a color palette that I gravitate towards, which is, for me, muted colors and textures, prints that are smaller, and fabrics that are unique in maybe subtle ways. Overall, that's what I like. I recommend you finding a color palette you like, even finding paint swatches or fabric swatches and keeping those nearby in a notebook or something that's going to help you make decisions on investing in fabric. And to that, I have been keeping a sewing journal that I've just started using to keep track of my fabrics, and this is also helping me plan future projects. Another tip that I kind of came up with while cleaning out my fabric cabinet is to trade fabric with a friend. If something reminds me of a friend, I'll usually put it to the side and give it to a friend to make something with. And lastly, something that I just kept coming back to while cleaning out my cabinet was how fabrics can hold so many memories. I love this about making things. I love this about finding special fabrics from the thrift store, or going on a trip and finding a fabric at a small local fabric shop. The memories that are attached to those fabrics bleed over into when you're making the garment and then when you're wearing it. I really think that's a really special thing about creating your own clothes. This is my pile that I'm getting rid of, and I don't know what I'll do with it yet. This is what I'm keeping. I'm really happy with the selection and feel like these are fabrics that I have a use for in the future, that feel in line with my style, and I feel happy about this. There are a lot of fabrics down here that are more sentimental that I'll always keep. And then up here, I don't have a lot of fabric like by the yards, but I've already made things out of like most of these fabrics. And one way to save on fabric and make sure you aren't buying too much is to have a dedicated project sent to your doorstep like the Mrs. Quilty subscription box. Thank you, Mrs. Quilty, for sponsoring this portion of the video. I am so excited to share with you this box. It is filled with fabrics and supplies and things that you need to learn how to quilt. This is such a fun skill. Talk about something that will be passed down for generations when you learn how to quilt. Those are the things that are cherished for years and years to come. It's something that everyone in your family can enjoy because there are so many ways to learn how to quilt. So in this box that I have here, there are many different projects laid out in this beautiful magazine that comes with each box. It has each project that you need, all the measurements, and each box builds upon the last. So you're going to walk through how to learn how to quilt, because you'll have everything that you need sent to your door. You're going to have the fabric that you need, and you don't even have to go to the store. So there is no excuse for not creating something. Each box comes with so many projects that you can make and all of the tools and supplies and fabrics that you need. It is for beginners to advanced quilters, and you are going to walk away with a beautiful end product. So get your first box below. You can use my code for 20% off your first subscription box so you can begin your quilting journey today. Thank you, Mrs. Quilty, for sponsoring this video. Like I mentioned, I needed to kind of change up things about the shed. And around a year ago, I changed the layout to make the tables in the middle and create a really large space that would be a really big table for cutting and laying out fabrics and stuff like that. I thought I would enjoy having a larger cutting area backing up to another table for more room, but actually this ended up meaning more clutter. Most of the times I walked into this small shed, I felt a little overwhelmed and cramped. So I moved everything back to the original layout. I removed the small storage cabinet under these shelves, instead put the butcher block island here. And it's funny how cleaning out one simple cabinet can lead to cleaning out an entire space and giving me more clarity of mind. I know it's rare to have a dedicated sewing shed, and I do not take that lightly. This has actually become a place for our whole family to come and create in, a place for my husband. He does a lot of music stuff in here. My daughter has just come into cutting fabrics and sewing, and that has been really exciting to see and have her in here. And of course, our son, he just plays on the floor pretty well in here, and so it's a special place for all of us.